I'm William, I'm not William.
Wow, good job.
I got it wrong right away. I'm Joey.
I'm William.
And I'm Dallas.
We're going to talk about the TV show Zoo from 2015.
2017? That might have been the latest season.
I think that was the last season.
Okay, then 2015.
On CBS, I hope.
I did at CBS.
On something. In which they...
You're listening to Zoo, the show, the podcast.
Zoo, First Blood, Episode 1.
Zoo.
First Blood.
Episode 1. Botswana.
Okay, so we open in Botswana.
We open in Botswana.
Well, actually, was it before it showed that it was Botswana? It was the guy with his dog.
That was in Botswana.
That was in Botswana. Okay.
In Botswana, we see a man and his dog, and the dog is barking at nothing. And the man comes down and is like, "You're barking at nothing."
Even though...
But what if?
Even though, as I'm sure most people in Botswana would say, if there is tall grass and like a stream of some sort, you're probably not looking at nothing. Like...
And then it goes into his, like, he does a speech that is essentially...
Oh, yeah,
what if all animals attacked all humans? Which is the core premise of the show. A perfect premise. The best premise for a show ruined by... I don't know what, like, caused all the problems with this show. I mean, it's crazy.
It's trying to tell us that there's something more than just animals attacking all people. And there's not.
That's true.
And that's what we want.
That's true. It could just be, I guess what everybody wants is just a show where a bunch of animals attack all people.
Yeah.
Like, just a clip show of, like, deers attacking people.
America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah, that would be ideal. I think maybe it's trying to go into the, like, confusion that would be happening.
We would be very...
What would actually happen?
Yeah.
So after he has a soliloquy, we see... we go to the next day, and he's in his camp, and he was getting drunk with Swedes.
Right.
He's in, like... They're like... what's his name? Is it Jackson Oz?
Jackson Oz.
The most main character.
But he's not revealed quite yet.
No.
Before we have the son Daniel and the father Abraham, played by the large, like the like really strong African guy who I really hope doesn't die.
Yeah,
he's cool.
He's not horribly annoying.
Yeah, he's way less horribly annoying than the rest of the characters. And then he does the big reveal because he like wakes him up and then he moves the hat and like, oh,
it's the guy from the first scene.
It's the guy with the dog.
And his son is watching videos of Jackson Oz's father, who is crazy according to Jackson, because he believes that all the animals should be attacking all people.
Yeah.
He believes the premise of the show before anyone else. He's the harbinger of death.
Yeah.
Why aren't these animals unionizing and putting their global struggle out there?
Why are these animals not reading the Marx they should be reading?
Yeah. They're gonna do it eventually.
And then he's hungover. So Abraham's the dad.
Yeah.
Abraham gives him a hangover cure where he starts drinking it, and Abraham starts listing the ingredients, and then hilariously at the end, he includes baboon dung.
Yeah, and just. I mean, even though he's already tasted it and knows that it's like a normal thing, he still does like the sitcom spit take and like looks up and kind of like does the metaphorical finger wag in his direction, like
They have a fun relationship.
It's a fun.
And then
we've really built this character up, and we really like him, and I hope nothing bad happens to him for the rest of the episode. Then we see some stock footage of some animals running, and then they are out in their car giving a tour to the Swedes.
Now we see they go to Los Angeles.
They go to Los Angeles first?
Yeah, okay. Los Angeles was first.
Okay,
that was what I was gonna. And this is where the magic starts happening.
Yeah.
Because we were sitting here thinking there'd be a build-up to the zoo premise. And, you know, there's a tiny bit. It's, like, talked about the possibility of it happening. but then these two guys, one's talking about his girlfriend banging other people.
Yeah.
And they're just taking a piss in an alley, which I guess is normal in Los Angeles.
Hey, let me get her phone number, man. Everyone's ha 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 ha.
Yeah. Just like the most like middle school joke. And looks up, here's this growling.
There's a lion on top of a shipping container in this like alley. You can see a busy street like 10 feet away. How did it get there? What like?
There's like a
growling
lion. Then there's another growling
Turns around
lion.
and bam.
And his friend doesn't hear a thing somehow.
Somehow
he starts roaring and jumps at him.
Not one, but two lions were able to not only escape the zoo, but hide afterwards.
They were just playing Assassin's Creed with downtown Los Angeles.
And then we got the opening theme where dramatic music plays. And they show a bunch of pictures of like animals, and you think, oh, what? I can't wait to see a giraffe try and kill a person. Like they just show a series of animals that you are like, ooh, can't wait. I'm excited for this.
Yeah. But I mean, were there anyone but? I think it was just lions this episode,
yeah, it was just
right?
lions.
It was all lions and a little bit of another feline, but that's for later.
Oh yeah.
A little bit, but no real attacks besides. As far as we know, so far the premise of the show is all lions attack all people.
Yeah.
So should we go ahead and cast our votes for? Do we think that like each episode is going to be like a different class,
more animals,
like a different class of animal?
I think we're going to keep adding more animals, at least for the first like 6 or 7 episodes. It's just going to be like they're just going to think, oh, it's all cats are attacking people, and then suddenly like birds are going to start like coming for them.
That's when it's really going to.
Do you think because it's lions, it's meant to be like kings of the jungle? They're the first ones to start.
I think they're learning. I think they're like first like if you were like asking a child like what if you needed to kill all people and you had all animals at your disposal, they would be like lion, like idiots. When the real answer is
gorillas. Gorillas definitely.
Ants. All the ants.
Ants. Definitely
There's so many ants.
Okay, so after a man is killed by a lion in downtown LA, then we see some stock footage, and then they're taking the Swedes around, and they come up on these hunters who I thought initially were just like really shitty poachers.
Yeah.
We
were just there's like one black rhino.
The last one, and they're coming out with a gun, and the guy holds up, I don't know what song it is now, I can't remember.
It is James Brown's
Get On Up by James Brown.
Which they paid the rights for, I have to assume.
They have
to for that 1 sec, and it scares the rhino away.
Yes, that's like this old like 1980s jukebox thing.
No
he
iPods.
holds it up, and from like 300 to 400 yards away, this rhino hears James Brown and is immediately terrified.
Yeah.
And starts running. Meanwhile, the people we think are poachers,
who are actually legal hunters because they are wealthy men.
Yeah.
But
who paid $200,000 for this?
He said, his quote was, I paid $200,000 for this permit. And the guy's response was, I paid $9 for this hat. Looks like we both got ripped off.
I think $9 seems not like too unreasonable for a hat.
Yeah.
But so
like he's still wearing the hat. Like no one took the hat off his head.
It doesn't look like a shitty
river.
You cannot see this, but it doesn't look like a shitty hat. It doesn't look like it's fucked up. Like he bought it and had a huge hole in it.
My question now though is, do you think that the hunter like saw the group of tourists come in? He's like, hey, I'm gonna ruin these people's vacation. I'm gonna blast that rhino right in front of them.
And you'd think that he'd still at least attempt. But like the second the rhino moves, he like
oh damn it!
It even shows it through his scope view.
And he follows it.
Yeah, he's lined up with it. But then he just
damn,
you got me.
Oh damn!
They ruined the mood.
Yeah, his boner.
Yeah.
Just instantly dropped.
Yeah.
So Jackson, Oz, and Abraham scare off these hunters who are sort of like do the shaking fist, like we'll get you, Jackson Oz.
Yeah.
And then what's next?
Which it could have just been like a fleeting moment that just passed and wasn't brought back.
But it won't be. I don't think that they have, like... I think this is a tightly wound story every second.
Yeah, like, they don't want to leave any loose ends, you can tell. Even when loose ends would make sense, they don't want to leave it at that.
Then we cut over back to LA with a reporter.
Oh, yeah.
And a young female reporter whose name did you get her name?
Jamie.
Jamie is pulled into her manager,
office.
her boss's office, and her boss is like, "Hey, listen, we're corrupt here."
Yeah.
She
just flat out like, "Hey," because she was talking on the phone and like trying to blame the Ryden pharmaceutical company for the attacks. And you have it talking about the lions in the background, which really, that's another thing, like, there's a lot going on in any scene. So, like, I feel like they're trying to fit so much in.
It's a first episode, so you have to like get all the stuff in and like also show some animal attacks, because if there were no lion attacks in this first episode, I would have turned it off.
Yeah. But like they're talking in the background about the lion attacks at the same time that she is talking about the lion attacks being whoever's fault. So it's like her talking over the radio, which is trying to explain what happened.
Yeah. So
so she's got like some kind of thing for this company.
She's got a theory that their food that like was fed to the lions in the zoo is causing the like attacks.
Yeah. And her stance, I believe, was, how can you say there's no correlation? Which I don't think she knows what a correlation is.
It's a bad theory. I like her healthy distrust of corporations, but it's a bad theory.
It's just a weak character. But, like, they could have... And it's bad, because it's like... supposed to be a strong character.
Yeah.
Well, part of the problem is her boss brings her in and is like, "You've been writing this blog that's talking shit on our parent company." And the blog is run by a woman called the girl with the genie tattoo, which we have to assume, right? They were like, it's a girl with a dragon tattoo. But we can't clear that. Like, we can't, they won't let us do that. They'll come for us.
What was this on Sci-Fi?
Oh god, no, CBS.
This wasn't even sci-fi.
Which is wild, because none of us had heard of it before, like, this year.
Yeah.
And it was in for 3 seasons.
CBS is like, hey, we don't do dragons. That's HBO. Like, oh, well, what can we... genie?
Genie.
Oh, we do genies, yeah.
And her boss she's like, how do you know it's me? And her boss is like, do you want me to make, like, I will strip you down.
And then she's like...
You can do that in the workplace.
I will strip you down and look for this genie tattoo. Which, if I had a website called, like, The Boy with the Griffin Tattoo, I wouldn't have, like, and it was a secret, I wouldn't have a Griffin tattoo.
Yeah, much less a tiny thumbnail of the actual tattoo. But, what was it, fog-ridden or something, was the term?
No, she also figured it out, because she'd been editing her for months, and so she knew it was her because she used the word pettifoggery.
Pettifoggery, that was it. And her response to this was that was weak logic.
Normally you couldn't do that, but I don't know. Pettifoggery, I don't even know the, like, word, but, like, that's a word that I feel like no good writer should, like.
Oh, no, that would never be in a newspaper. Like, you're like, what the hell is this?
Which brings up a bigger problem. Like, we're supposed to believe this woman is, like, this intelligent, like, truth chaser. But, like, she's dogging everybody about this pharmaceutical company. And, like, brings up, like, oh, you can't tell me it's not related. And then brings up weak logic in something that's a very, very good logical leap. Like, this woman's been reading her papers for, like, years. She knows what her writing is. And if you use pettifoggery even once in your writing career, then you should already be fired. So I feel like they gave her a lot of chances on that.
I think it's this problem of, like, TV writers are like, we have to make this character, like, really smart, and they just whip out the thesaurus.
Yeah.
What's a word you possibly cannot forget? Pettifoggery.
They want to make these characters smart, so they just tell, oh, well, this lady's smart. And And it's like, oh, well, what is she doing that's smart? Don't worry about that. She's smart.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to prove how smart she is.
She knows that Raiden's food is grade D meat, which obviously makes the lions angry enough to escape.
It's a bad situation.
That's the thing.
The thing is, if she was just like saying like, hey, they shouldn't be being fed this, I would be like, oh yeah, that's a fine, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very logical statement.
Anyway, we go back to the Botswana. They're in a plane now. Abraham and Jackson Oz.
Oh yeah.
And they, for like a little bit, they're like talking about how the differences between animals and people, which is a very common thing in this show.
Yeah.
They just are constantly like, animals are like this, people are like this, like an old like Eddie Murphy like comedy. They talk about how animals are like better in ways, and then the other person's like animals aren't better in every way, and then like they imply that maybe Jackson Oz's dad killed himself,
which was very out of the blue.
It was a weird it was the worst decision Abraham probably made in the the least likable thing about him was he's just like, oh yeah, like, you know, like...
Yeah, animals don't kill themselves.
And then, like, gave him a meaningful,
while he's driving the plane, he's like, animals don't kill themselves. And, like looks away from the...
And then, they arrive, they're going out to, like, repair something or it doesn't really matter. They're going to another part of Botswana to do something away from their lodge. And they arrive at this other lodge, which, like, I think they probably just have the one lodge, and they're just, like, rearranging, like, certain aspects of it.
Yeah, for, like, the scenery.
Yeah, and they find, like, it's a ghost town. There's nobody there. It's abandoned. There's, like, food on the table that's, like, somebody left in a hurry. And they find on the ground a pristine, brand new Sony camera.
Not even a scratch. Like, you'd think that maybe... And it's open, too, so, like, it fell while it was open.
It fell while it was
landed
open.
in the perfect position.
And reveals, like, a lion attack, basically. They discover there was a lion attack. Everyone's gone. And,
but they find a single pair of lion prints.
Oh, yeah!
which comes in when they're discussing, like, oh, what could have happened?
They're like, there's no way one lion could kill all these people. Oh, and then the guy's like, you know what you told me about the rebels?
Yeah, some rebel army.
URA or something. Like they come in single file, so it looks like it was just one man. What if the lions?
Yeah, what if?
What if?
What if the lions? What if there was more than one lion and they came in single file, so they would only leave one pair of prints?
And like, which is a crazy thing because like they don't have range. They can't like. There's no way to like. Once they start attacking, what's gonna like? I get it for like coming up, but like.
Yeah, once they're there, like it's all mud. Like they would have left prints everywhere. Mm-hmm. But they did a good, clean job of it. They got all the bodies out. You know, they left all the food.
Yeah.
All the meat that was prepared, seasoned to perfection.
They're gonna eat a lot of people meat in the coming months.
Yeah,
they're very excited about that. What's next? What happens? Is it the bathroom scene?
Or they go back to Jamie's apartments where she's talking about like, I'm so dumb.
We see her genie tattoo on her shoulder, and it's like the big reveal.
The big reveal of this thing that we already knew.
Yeah.
We
all already knew, and
she answers the door, and her coworker who was there,
who was like really adding on to the shit pile along with her boss.
Yeah. He's there, and they start talking, and turns out that he is her superior, but he's also banging her on the side, and she's like, "Well, you don't have to worry about that because you're no longer my superior, and you're no longer banging me on the side."
And it's like this. This is like a big moment, but we had no lead up into it. Where there's no...
And it again, because he even says that I've been telling you for years or something that you need to take this website down.
Because someone's going to figure it out because you have an obvious like genie tattoo.
Yeah. So like, adding on to just the earlier discussion of how poorly done her character is. Like, she's supposed to be this smart, like, strong female lead. And her, so far, like, her entire character has been tied into just making terrible choices
and
that were very easily, like, you can easily see the consequences and how dumb they are.
And she goes straight from there in her like anger, I guess, to the like CEO. Is it the CEO of Raiden? Or something like that. Somebody big up in the company. It doesn't really matter. He's an authority figure from Raiden. It doesn't really matter like what his title is. He goes to his house where he's having like a birthday party for his daughter and like confronts him, and he blows her off and says like, your idea's shit, and also let's drop that all the cats in the neighborhood are missing. Someone is kidnapping all the cats. Which is a wild thing. I guess I guess if all your cats in your William, you have a lot of cats in your neighborhood. I guess if they all disappeared, you would have to assume.
I'd be very concerned, but like
it was a
so
person.
Confused.
Yeah, it'd be very confusing.
I guess it could also be an animal. Like you have to assume either a person is kidnapping all these cats, or an animal is killing them.
Yeah, there's like a stray wolf.
So she's. Where's she go after that? What's next?
I think it might go.
It goes back to the Botswana.
They come up on a car. They're driving back to their lodge.
And it belongs to one of their lodge friends from a different one. He was giving some kind of tour, and it's abandoned.
And so
in this
they could have driven.
They could turn right up to it.
Yeah, like this field of tall grass everywhere.
And they get out and they walk over with their guns. And Abraham walks over. Jackson Oz stops like midway between for some reason. And Abraham comes up, goes into the car, like sees like blood in the car and gets in.
Yeah, he hears the guy, his cousin, that they're there to find, and he's like, "Oh no!" Goes in.
Goes straight in.
And then
Jackson Oz sort of has a Children of the Corn like
kind
of like
where he like hears rustling. And then this blonde lady just comes out at him, which his reflexes
it's pretty bad.
Very bad. Because everyone else just would have popped him. Like, that could have been a lion. He'd just pop him. But no, like, there's this lady, she's freaking out in French and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, she's screaming French at him like, we have to get out of here, we have to go.
Meanwhile, while he's distracted by her, he turns back and there's a lion just mid-entry.
like a toddler. Like, just sort of hopping into the...
Oh, which I'm just realizing. They must have left that guy alive as a trap.
Oh my god.
Oh!
That's actually pretty good.
Oh my, yeah. And it's weird, like, the writing for this. It's awful with every human dialogue or whatever, but the animals.
The animals really... Wait a minute. It was... What if...
It's written by animals?
What if it was written by animals? What if this is propaganda?
This was written by animals.
I can believe that.
So they have to like leave Abraham behind. They run back to the car with the lions chasing them, and like hop in the car, and then it's just a scene of lions jumping on the car. Like
there's the classic
it won't start
thriller move where somehow this like perfectly functioning machine in an area and like by people who would in context absolutely like take care of it correctly.
Yeah.
Like it's like if you live in the desert and you're like, "Oh, I won't check my car or whatever."
Right. And then we get Chloe, yeah, is the French woman, and she explains that like she was part of this tour group. He got attacked in this very stuttering. I felt like really bad because it seemed like the sort of like monologue that they were like, this is your big moment, like as an actress, and like she was having to do it in like broken English. Like it's a very hard like. It's supposed to be her describing her like horrible experience, and it should be a tear-felt like moment, but it just like I was just bored. I was just like really.
It's like lions attack. That's all you have to say.
Yeah.
But
and
so far I feel like as with all the two women that are introduced, which is already kind of shameful.
Yeah,
she is by far the stronger character.
Well, yeah, because she was able to hide in that grass from those lions for like for however many hours.
But then she goes and talks about what happened, and I don't even blame the lions at that point, because like the tour guide parked there, in this like 3-foot tall grass section.
Well, they were looking for Pokemon.
They were looking for gazelles in an obvious lion territory.
And then
their car breaks down.
yeah,
The lions got the radiator.
The lions got the radiator. That is a line that he uses. Looks like the lions got the radiator.
They must have gone to technical college. Fuck. Yeah. So the lions. He like it breaks down. He gets out of the car. He goes around to the front, and there's just a big hole in like the ring. And they. No, the walk is after we go back to LA and we finally get to the thing we've been waiting for. She goes to the zoo.
Oh yeah.
We're in the zoo from Zoo. I assume that this is like a major like
area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like specifically one of the shots they got was awesome, and I was expecting it to go somewhere else. Hopefully it does. But there was like people were taking pictures of this gorilla, and this gorilla just looks pissed off. Like he's like just fully sitting up, just looking over at him, just scowl on his face. So hopefully episode 2, I'm crossing my fingers.
Gorilla.
Because that's when it's gonna stop. And then when the like gorillas or maybe the smaller monkeys figure out that they can ride on the back of the big cats.
Ooh.
That'd be fun.
There's a lot of possibilities.
There's
here.
a lot of possibilities once you start combining animals into a sort of Voltron style.
Yeah, once you start really getting into the human-like tactics that they could figure out. If they're just like, you know what? I usually eat you guys, but hey, here's something.
Got a bigger enemy.
Yeah, let's eat people.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. We've all always wanted to eat people. Like this show like really like I feel like a connection with this show on the sense of like I just assume all animals are kind of like thinking like if I get the chance, like if you gave me a shot, I'd do it.
Yeah.
Like William, your cats are 2 beautiful, lovely cats, but I do think like
There's probably moments.
given the
If a cow had a chance, it'd eat you and everyone you care about.
Yeah, and that's why we can't show them mercy, really.
So she's the reporter Jamie. I'm so bad with names. Jamie is at the zoo to meet a
pathologist,
veterinary pathologist. He's very specific about that.
Yeah.
She calls him a coroner, and he really just puts her in his place, which was awesome, and just really awesome.
Really, really a great moment for like female characters when she just uses a slightly wrong word, and he's like actually, fuck you.
Yeah. Because that'd be like, she just called him a secretary. It's like, actually, I'm the assistant. So, I'm a personal assistant.
And he takes her and they like talk about the animals. He shows her his 2 big lion corpses with the hole cut out of the head.
Yeah, and like the whole time was just him like checking her.
Yeah.
Which hopefully, I hope she could develop as the series goes on.
I really don't want to hate like the female character.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing.
Of the 2 that we have, or 3 because there's the boss who is like
the only one who made like
sexual
really
harassment issue waiting to happen.
Yeah.
God.
The boss was probably the only purely logical one. Although Chloe, we can kind of
she was attacked by lions.
Yeah, she was just she just saw everyone around her just murdered on her honeymoon.
I don't have a problem with Chloe. I think she's totally reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. But I hope that they really develop from here.
I mean,
because this is just a pilot.
Oh God, some of all the characters have issues.
Except the pathologist.
Yeah,
he's all right. Yeah, he's a little bit of a weirdo, but like you gotta have that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
your science, like he's definitely like well, there's no way Jeff Goldblum will like do this.
And I love how like she brings up the food company. And he's like, yeah, it's not the food.
Yeah.
And she's like, but blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it's not the food. I'm a scientist. What are you talking about?
It's implied that she has something against this company.
Oh, yeah.
So there must be some, like, we're going to find out some shady, like, going on.
She at one point talked about Folsom. I don't know.
I think she's maybe...
Johnny Cash.
Yeah, just Johnny Cash album.
Yeah, but, like, already we see... And it's weird how they do this, because, like, while she's talking about this like pharmaceutical company and how they're the problem, and has everybody telling her like, actually, it's got nothing to do with this, and she's like, no, you're wrong. Don't tell me I'm wrong. You're wrong. But we see the same thing happening in like Africa. So like,
yeah, I mean, she doesn't have that information
animals.
though.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
guess.
yeah.
I guess so.
So
We can't fault her for that.
Their conversation doesn't go anywhere really, except that like she mentions the cats have been disappearing, and he sort of has a I will look
I'll check this out.
I do love missing cats.
Oh, interesting.
I wonder if these are the ones I took.
When
cats.
So Jackson Oz and Chloe have a conversation about whether they're gonna have to walk back to camp, and she's like, "No, absolutely not. Like, I'm staying in this car."
Solid move.
There makes sense to me. Good idea. And she has a great line, one of the better lines in the show, where she says that he's like, I don't want to leave this car, and she's like, you don't have to. We have free will. That's what sets us apart from the animals. That and this car.
Yeah, really just...
It's a good line. It's a solid, like, it's a strong line. It's funny. That's, like, part of the reason I think I like her character more than a lot of the other ones at the moment. We'll see how it, like, goes out once she's out of, like, immediate danger. So they're walking back to the camp because he wins out in the end because... we do have to keep the story moving, and and he's a, he's
no real reason though.
He's the big burly guy with a strong chin, and his name is Jackson Oz, and we're all doing what he says.
And he has a bolt action rifle against like a pack of like 5 male lions.
And so they're walking along a cliff edge, a very smart thing to do, and they get like come upon by 3 or 4 lions.
Yeah.
Who like walk up to them, and he looks in the lion's eye,
and they have this moment.
Yeah, of like, wow, and he's like the defiant, and then the lion goes for him, and they both fall down the cliff and are dirty. Yeah, they're dirty. The levels of pain like are like horrible, deathly pain, and down to dirty. They're just dirty, and they get up at the bottom of the thing, and like. You're like, what was he? Why did he say the defiant right before? Because there's no reference to this earlier.
There was one.
Oh, was there?
It was at the way beginning. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
He just said it, and they thought that it meant like a student he was teaching.
Right, because it's the defiant pupil. Is the full sentence he was trying to say. And so what? Yeah. Oh, the reporter. We go back to the reporter in LA who's talking to her boyfriend. Not boyfriend anymore. Broken up. Her boss.
Broken up boss.
Who's not her boss anymore because she got fired.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can stay on actually. And then they talk about the relationship like in the middle of this office.
Yeah, this busy newspaper office.
Where everyone can like, they're like not like whispering. They're talking at normal volume. That conversation again goes nowhere, except that she gets a text from the pathologist whose name, did we get his name?
Mitch something?
Yes, Mitch.
Mitch pathologist.
Pathologist Mitch.
Texts her like, I found the cats.
You gotta come see this.
You gotta come check this out. He's gonna be sick. And then we cut back, or no, we go to the cats. We do a setup where he's like, he meets her in a park, and he's like, this is gonna be rad.
No, before that, they go back and back to Botswana.
Oh, okay, they do go. Okay,
and they're talking about Jackson's father and kind of bringing up stuff like that.
He was like, I don't understand why the weaker animals do not simply team up and kill the bigger animals.
Yeah.
Like that was his dad's whole theory was that. Why don't like a bunch of these little guys just like go to town? Like why don't like 80 gazelles just mob a lion?
Then he's talking about the defiant pupil.
Yeah.
And how like all these years, even though he had like a series of videos that are like his ramblings / manifesto, like where he lays out this whole theory, and like he brings up the defiant eye, and like it talks about how brilliant his father was, and how much of like a scientist and whatnot, but yet like the basis of the theory, because he says the defiant pupil is like the proof, the irrefutable proof.
When I looked in this dog's eye, I knew it wanted to kill me.
Like he just got attacked by a raccoon in like its eyes. But like he doesn't actually explain what he means by like the backbone of his theory in all these videos. Or maybe they just didn't watch all of them.
Yeah, he didn't. Well, I mean, it's a long, you know, his Skillshare subscription ran out.
I mean, it's implied that the son is like all the Abraham's son from the beginning. He like implies that he's always watching those videos.
He's like real into him,
and he's still like watching them. So there's got to be like days and days of footage. But yeah, so they're talking about that and like the defiant eye.
I looked in a border collie's eyes once and I knew he wanted to fucking rip my throat out.
And then he's talking about, he says, when I looked into that lion's eye, maybe my dad wasn't so crazy after all.
And they call the police.
They call the police
on the radio at the lodge that they reach.
And the police come
and arrest him.
They're like, yeah, it's us. They're so happy to see him. Yeah. And then out comes the guy. He's like, are you Jackson Oz? Yeah, I'm Jackson Oz. You're under arrest for interfering with hunting.
The rich man from earlier.
Yes.
Because you can just buy the police.
He tattletaled.
He did tattletale.
Like, he got arrested for holding up a boombox with James Brown playing. Crystal quality, by the way.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Like, annoying at most. Interference, not really. He still could have taken the shot.
Yeah. He could have followed the rhino.
But I guess they needed the big like cliffhanger for the end of the first episode. So they get arrested.
And then back to the park.
Yes.
Where the pathologist has led her out and he's like, I thought maybe there might be an animal killing these cats, but I want to show you where I like started driving around the neighborhood. Which, by the way, this is a tree in the neighborhood, so it's wild that none of the people who live there have seen this.
Yes.
Like during the daytime. He like shines his flashlight and she's like, oh look, a couple of cats. And then he keeps shining his flashlight. And it's all the cats.
And she's like getting teary-eyed for some reason. Like her eyes are watering up. Like there's some big revelation. But still nobody knows anything. Yeah. She's still like, oh, it's this company. Even though the scientist who studies it is like, yeah, it's not this company. But she's like getting teary-eyed and looking at all these cats. And then the big episode closer.
This is an element. No, wait, the elementary school thing is first. Because there's also the thing with Abraham.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. Oh, you're right. Okay. So the second big episode closer.
She's like...
It's an elementary school.
Yeah,
but summer's out. But it's a day camp. Starting tomorrow.
Which is implying there's going to be a sick-ass scene where a bunch of kids come to the park and like...
It's just raining household pets onto them. And then...
And then the real cliffhanger is...
Oh, the real cliffhanger.
Abraham, who got mauled in that bus...
Yeah.
By the... or trucked by a lion... and is getting dragged up into a tree.
Which, I mean, I was at least pretty upset when Abraham went in there. Because I was like, Abraham, what are you doing, man?
You
like, don't go in there. You know better. Like, this is lion territory. So it shows him getting dragged up a tree, I'm assuming by his clothes. He looks pretty alright, considering he got mauled by a lion.
Like, all things considered, he looks okay.
Yeah, like, the lions were just like, you know what? I just want to look at this one. He's huge, man. Have you seen a guy this big?
They put him over a tree, and, like, the final shot of the episode is... and he wakes up.
Yeah.
Oh, he's alive.
His eyes open, and then... just another perfect scene for next time is him just fucking up these lions. Like, he just goes Liam Neeson on these lions.
The problem I'm seeing with the show possibly in the future is it's very fun to watch animals eat like humans.
Yeah.
I feel like there might have been some people who weren't like super hyped about watching a person like just drop kick a a corgi.
Yeah, like PETA is gonna. I mean, this first episode they would have loved.
Yeah.
But like coming up, like whenever they're like fighting for their lives against all these animals. Like, a lot of these animals are gonna be endangered already.
Or cute animal, like pets, like household pets are gonna be like one of the first like problems.
Yeah, someone's gonna like spill a fishbowl and they're just gonna go piranha on them.
I
That would
think
be so good.
I think we should probably end here, but I just wanna think about it for just a second. What like animal do you want to see next week? What is the like ideal animal? What's the animal you most want to see in the show kill a person?
I want to see prairie dogs drag someone under.
Yes!
Through the
That
tiny
would be
holes.
beautiful.
That's what I want to see.
I want.
We also talked about kill of the week,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
we gotta do Kill of the Week.
but Dal should go first with his
Okay,
dream.
honestly, at some point I want to see gorillas, but I feel like that should be like... Because gorillas are so much like humans. That's got to be the big reveal. Like, this whole time, gorillas have been, like, developing mentally, and they're, like, telling everybody to do whatever. But I would like to see, like, a bear, like, team up with a bunch of other bears, like the lions did. Like a bunch of, like, the Russian trained bears. They just...
Ooh.
I mean, they're already trained by Russians. So they,
Tactical.
yeah, they just go in with like this KGB like covert operations going after people.
I mostly want to see. I just sort of I want it to be early. It has to be like next episode because it can't be once people have figured out the animals. I just want to see a person in a zoo with a sloth. Who's like
like slowly,
who's like got it wrapped on his like put on his shoulder and is like talking to some kids and it just
like I can't get it off.
And all the kids are like, yeah,
Getting a little tight, buddy, huh?
Oh man, I gotta change mine to giraffe.
Oh god, yeah.
It's like if you've ever seen giraffes in the wild fight, they like gulf swing their heads.
just
like,
I
just want to see a giraffe decapitate somebody with like Tiger Woods driving, and then the head just go off into the sunset.